Just wait. Good afternoon, viewers. This is Dr. Ashok Kumar welcoming you to the session on MMPN 002. The subject is sales management, and we are here to discuss the first unit today. I hope the session will be of real, genuine use to all of you listeners and viewers. And I will try my level best to try to bring you the best of me. And let me introduce myself for a few seconds. I am working as an assistant professor in marketing and strategy area with more than 15 years of experience in reputable business schools and of course 8 years in industry. I am also associated with the University of Ravenna as a member of Board of Studies of Department of Business Administration, and I am also taking care of the placement activities of my department. I teach papers like sales and distribution management, advertising management, to name just a few. Today, the session is going to be of interest to many scholars, to many students who have enrolled for this nice course. And I hope sales management as a subject is going to enrich your knowledge if you are in the field of marketing or if you are in the field of direct sales. Come what may, this is the brain of the entire organization because you can't expect any organization to be running without proper sales. They say that sales is the lifeline of any organization. If you are not generating enough sales, you are not really going to be making any progress in the organization. So to be able to take it forward, take it further, you have to be a smart sales guy or you have to be a smart salesperson, so to say. And with sales, you can really achieve whatever is seeming to be impossible in the beginning of the organization. And I hope this particular session is going to be adding immense value to your wealth of knowledge. And I am also going to try to tell you some practical tips, how exactly things are really being carried out in organizations. And of course, this is going to be a session which is really going to be highly embedding all the aspects of sales. And to begin with, let me try to touch upon something like the introduction of the sales management. In daily transactions, individuals engage in buying and selling goods and services. As you know, with the seller persuading the buyer to fulfill their needs. This process is termed as selling, executed by a professional known as a salesman. Sales activities are overseen by sales management, where modern sales executives plan, organize, and control organizations efficiently. I'll be really trying to be throwing more light on how exactly the modern sales executives plan, organize, and control the organizations efficiently. And you must have really heard the age-old adage that everybody lives by selling something. If you are a salesperson, then you are going to be winning the market. You are going to be winning the trust of the customer. You are of course winning the entire marketing effort of your organization. Because as I told a few minutes back, at the end of the day, your organization is going to be asking you, have you made any sales today or not? If you are not making any sales, you are not really taking the organization forward. So the professional approach of selling involves strategic analysis, qualitative and quantitative personal selling strategies, and the skillful application of organizational principles to sales operations. I say skillful application because you can't be a normal salesperson moving on the streets, moving on the road, and trying to really generate sales for your organization. Those days are gone when people used to really go and try and knock at each and every person kind of a door and hoping that the door is going to open. The door never opens on its own. You have to really either try to persuade the person to open the door or the door remains shut on your face. And salespersons face different kind of rejections, different kind of no's, and different ways in which people say no to them, maybe in a stylish professional way, but a no is a no is a no. So how do you really try to turn these no's into yes, and how do you really try to impact people's lives so that people feel that there is something in it for me? As you know, as a customer, you are only going to buy a product if you sense that the product really offers something meaningful, something sensible to me. If the product doesn't have anything to offer to me specifically and satisfying my needs and wants and desires, I do not really subscribe to the product. However alluring your product may be, however alluring your services may be, if you do not really meet the needs or wants or desires of a person, the person is a customer, of course, then he or she is not going to be saying yes to you. So how do you really create demands? How do you try to meet demands? How do you try to sell your products to a person who might be not eager, not so much eager, rather say, to really buy your product? So demand for executives adapted this professional approach is very high. As you know, if you really go and search the Fortune 500 companies in the world, you will find that many people who have really risen to the very top, like the CEOs and all, they really might have crossed sales as a function in the initial years of doing a job. So whether you are a salesperson or you are not, you have got to really have the ability to sell your ideas, sell your products, sell your services, sell whatever the organization has got to produce, so that ultimately you as a salesperson really succeed. So salesmanship quality is crucial, akin to the leadership role of managers in industry, responsible for planning, forecasting, directing, and controlling personnel to achieve successful collaboration. Why I say you have got to plan and forecast and direct and control? Because if you do not plan, like they say in the old days, failing to plan is planning to fail. So why should you plan to fail? There is no reason, there is no logic for that. You have got to be really a crucial cog in the wheel. And you have got to understand that if your organization doesn't generate sales, your organization simply doesn't survive. And if your organization doesn't survive, there is very least chance of you people really surviving the organization. Whatever may be the functional area of the organization, be it your IT or HR or finance or operation, whatever domain you talk about, they are at the end of the day dependent on a very crucial, sensible function called sales. So you have got to be responsible for planning how you sell, where you sell, whom you sell, how much you can sell. How do you really plan your territories? How do you really plan out for your customers? How do you forecast the demand? How do you really try to give a direction to the people who are working in the production operation kind of an activity? How much they should produce, when exactly they have got to produce, which specification is needed for production more, which specification is really needed to be produced less. These are all very, very vital things that really requires an extraordinary kind of an expertise. So in order to possess that extraordinary sense of expertise, you have got to understand that there is no escaping sales. I keep on, harping on this particular point time and again because I must really try to make you understand, guys, that selling is the reason for which many organizations really succeed, and many organizations, more than 80 to 85% of organizations fail because they do not have adequate planning for sales. They haven't really been able to forecast proper kind of selling ways and means, and of course they are pretty poor in directing their selling activities, and they are really very poor in controlling their own personnel as well. So how do you really achieve this kind of success? You have got to achieve this success only through collaboration with your salespeople. So nowadays, people have really become more collaborative than trying to direct, than trying to say, look, this is what you have got to do, this is what you need to have to do and all. Those days, I think, are really crumbling pretty fast. And you, in the modern day of selling function, has got to be one notch above the rest of the guys who work in the market to ensure that your sales is really happening and happening at a good pace. So if you define what sales management is, might be sounding a little bit theoretical, but let's understand how sales management really gets defined. Originally, sales management focused on directing sales personnel, but its scope has expanded now, like I was telling just seconds back. In today's context, it encompasses the management of all marketing activities. When I say management of all marketing activities, I mean you are managing your advertising, your sales promotion, your marketing research, physical distribution, pricing, and of course, product merchandising. So when you do this sales promotion or you do this advertising, you have got to understand who your target customers are. How do you really generate sales for your target customers? How do you really reach out to with a very incisive and very persuasive kind of communication to the people who are supposed to be your prospective customers in tomorrow's market? You have got to ensure that your sales promotion is directed towards the right kind of people. When I say right kind of people, what I really mean is that your sales promotion is directed towards people who are going to be provoked and provoked pretty fast to really come and experiment with your product. So whether you are doing sales promotion or you are doing advertising, whatever you might be doing as a kind of promotion activity, sales is ultimately at the end of the funnel. You have got to ensure that your advertising, your sales promotion efforts, they are all directed towards sale at a later point of time. Like it or not, believe it or not, the fact is every marketing function that is really being carried out, every marketing activities that the organization does is ultimately generating sales, or it is kind of designed to really generate sales. So whether you do marketing research or you try to take a dig at pricing methods and all, you try to understand how product merchandising has got to be done. Everything is really revolving around sales, sales, and sales only. Your marketing research team is going to go to the market, try to figure out what exactly is the requirement of the customers, what exactly the competitor is doing in the market, how exactly I have really got to try to understand the pulse of my customers, what exactly they need, and all this stuff. They are, if you try to understand it clearly, they're all directed towards only one functional domain, that is sales and sales only. The American Marketing Association defines it as the planning, direction, and control of personnel engaged in selling activities involving tasks like recruiting, selecting, training, assigning, rating, supervising, paying, and motivating the sales force. I have talked about too many things: recruiting, selecting, training, assigning, rating, supervising, paying, and motivating the sales force. So first you have got to recruit the sales force. How do you choose them? How do you bring them to your table? How do you really make them believe that your organization is a serious organization who is truly trying to give the sales guys the best shot possible? How do you select people? How do you say, well, this is the guy that I really want, and these are the kind of people whom I really might not be interested in taking? That is a pretty tedious kind of a job. Whether you believe it or not, the fact is recruitment and selection of the salesperson is going to be setting the way your next 5 years or 10 years is really going to be doing for you as an organization. Your success, whether it is elementary or it is going to be success for the long term, is primarily dependent on the quality of salesperson that you are going to be recruiting. That is a mandatory must. Of course, you might be finding that, well, there is some need for training because no salesperson is ever trained the way you expect him to be groomed like. So you have got to really try to figure out what is exactly the training requirement of the salespeople. What are their strengths and weaknesses? That might be sounding like a cliche, but the fact is, in a sales profession particularly, the sales guy has got to be trained in multiple ways. It is not a one-dimensional way of really trying to understand, well, this is what you have got to do and go and do it. It's not go and do it. You have got to understand what are his shortcomings, where is he really very strong at. Can I really strengthen his strong points even better? Can I really try to strengthen his weak points so that he really tries to overcome those things in a pretty quick period of time? You have got to assign them specific kind of assignments. You can't really tell them, look, this is early in the morning and you have got to pack your bag and start your car or start your vehicle and start moving in market A, B, C in a zigzag kind of a way. He has got to be really given a specific responsibility of trying to meet a person X, Y, Z, which database, of course, you do have previously. Okay, so you are expecting him that he is going to be delivering things as per your own kind of specifications. he might be really a kind of good enough so that he can really try to figure out on his own what exactly needs to be done. But primarily in pretty good decent organizations, the salesperson is given or assigned a specific role of trying to meet a particular group of clients and trying to avoid another particular group of clients. That is about the assigning part of it. Okay, then you have got to rate your people. How do you rate your salespeople? Do you rate them on the basis of the number of customers that you have really contacted in a day? Is it really dependent on the kind of the area of territory that he has covered, or is it really trying to be dependent on the kind of conversion that he has made, or is it really something else? Like he is really going to be focusing on, let's say, 10 products, and out of 10 products, he is really trying to be giving product 1, 2, 3 more push, and product 4 and 5 and 6 little bit moderate push, and 7, 8, 9, 10 is absolutely out of his horizon. If this is what he is really adept at doing, and you really believe that he is really generating sales for an organization, then primarily he is really having a silo approach. He is not really trying to contributing totally, completely to all kind of product that you are really trying to come up with. So you have got to really try to find out a way in which rating can be done in a proper way. Of course, after rating comes the supervising part of it. How do you supervise your people? How do you supervise your salespeople? You are going to be supervising your salespeople on the basis of their shortcomings, what they are not so good at. Can I really try to overcome those weaknesses, those short weaknesses of them, so that they really try to rectify their mistakes, learn from it, and try and move forward? You have got to pay them, and paying probably in sales is the most difficult, most complex, most debated kind of area. How do you pay salespeople? Do you pay them on the basis of the salary that you have fixed for them, or do you really try to come up with a different kind of method? Is it really going to be a commission-based kind of a payment, or is it going to be a payment flat? Are you going to be really trying to come up with different plans for different kind of people? Are you going to be paying them on the basis of seniority and all? Are you going to pay them on the basis of the kind of territory that they cover? Or are you really going to be paying them for the kind of product that they really want to sell in the market? So how do you really come up with a package which is really going to be taking care of the entire payment options? So you have got to really try to fix a rule or fix a kind of a way in which payment is to be done, and it has got to be done in a way which really satisfies the salesperson at the end of the day. And trust me, many salespeople in sales organizations or in organizations which are predominantly sales oriented, they quit their organizations because of unequal pays as they complain about it. They said that, look, I was really generating this kind of sales, my sales target has been reached, and I have really sometimes exceeded my target, but there is no reward for that. So you have got to ensure that the payment is done according to the performance. It can be a performance-linked pay, or it can be simply a kind of a flat pay structure where you are trying to pay them as per their salary that has been fixed or negotiated in the beginning of it. And the most crucial thing is motivating the sales force. What motivates the salesperson? How does a sales guy really get motivated? I think, if anyone has got the experience of being in the sales for whatever division, small or big, you might have understood that sales in India is really considered as the most difficult job that a management graduate or graduate even can take up. There are a very good number of people who are reluctant to get into sales activity. The simple reason is that there is no strong motivation apart from the money that they make. Well, a smart sales guy or a pretty effective salesperson makes the maximum money in the organization, where the payment is really not really linked to any kind of fixed kind of component that is linked to your variable pay. So when you are offering variable pay, and I am really a capable kind of a guy who is really going to be promoting good products in the market, trying to be generating more sales, and I'm really capable and confident about my own abilities. So sometimes I also feel demotivated. Look, my organization is not really probably paying me as per my own expectations at all. And there is maximum cases of sales people really switching organizations pretty quick. They really switch in maybe as low as 6 months time, and well, you never know, they might be really switching industries. Someone might be working in X industry for 2 years and switching to Y industry after 2 years, completely different kind of industry. So what really makes these people really stay away from sticking to a particular kind of a job or sticking to a particular kind of organization for a long duration of time? I think the answer to that is only motivation. They are not motivated enough, or in other words, I can say They haven't got the mentors who can effectively motivate them so that their needs, their wants, their expectations from the organizations are seriously being taken care of. So it is also viewed as a socio-scientific process. Why is a socio-scientific process? Because in a socio-scientific process, there are ways in which your societal standards really goes up, and your brain or your mind doesn't really work just because you have been conditioned to work in a particular way. You are also trying to reason out. You are also trying to figure out, well, this is what I'm going to be doing to my client, or this is what I'm really going to be proposing to my customer, and this is probably going to be the response from my customers. So you have got to understand that this is not simply a functional, kind of activity where you just go with a product and try to create a customer out of blue. So this is a socio-scientific process, and you are also trying to emphasize group effort toward predetermined common goals with coordination as a key factor. You have got to understand that this is a group effort, and this is really directed towards a predetermined common goal. What is that predetermined common goal? The predetermined common goal is that my organization should be able to maximize its sales, maximize its customer satisfaction, maximize the reach of the product in the geographical location where I'm really supposed to sell at all. Of course, you might be thinking, now the world has become a one global village. There is no sense of strict geographical discrimination at all. But end of the day, when you are dealing with physical products, then probably you have got the territory rights, you have got the ways in which you are going to protect your own territory and all. So I might just as well be provoked to say that, well, this is again going to be a predetermined common goal where the organization really tries to see one thing: have my salespeople really been able to try and go to the market and really promote my products well enough or not? If it is done, then the organization's common goal is achieved. If it is not done, you might be a star performer, you might be a very brilliant salesperson, but your organization, at the end of the day really suffers because you have not been able to single-handedly been able to take the organization to the next level. Sales management differs from other management fields as it operates in a broader, society-oriented and human welfare-focused environment. Why I say that? It is because that in other management fields, you are going to be doing a pretty strictly, demarcated or watertight compartment kind of an activity. This is much more broader. You are trying to understand the competition, you are trying to understand the customer psychology, you are trying to understand the way the market is really shaping up. You are again trying to understand in a broad way where the market is leading towards in future. You are trying to understand what kind of demand is really, latent in the market, which is not really seen and which has got to explode. I can give you hundreds of examples where companies have really been able to explore markets and they have really been able to create a market out of nothing. If you take the case of a very age-old example of Maggi noodles in India, you'll be shocked to understand when Maggi noodles came, it just came with a pretty big slogan, 2 minutes noodles. So when people feel that there is some kind of food item which can really be prepared in 2 minutes, people are absolutely taken aback. The housewife, the homemaker, so to say, in the house was really, kind of pretty much happy that she got a product which can really sort out her problem in pretty quick time. Imagine a house where the father is rushing for the office, the kids are rushing to the colleges or the schools, and the lady in the house is also kind of employed, and she is also going to be leaving her home at 9 o'clock in the morning, and the entire family has got to be fed. If she is going to be searching for this elaborate, typical Indian breakfast, then she is really not going to be reaching her office. So Maggie came as a kind of panacea for the household. Now Maggie is dominating the entire noodles market in India like nothing. This is a kind of revolution which really is possible because you are trying to be getting your product closer to the society. That's why I say that you are operating in a broader society-oriented and human welfare-focused environment. Why I say human welfare-focused environment? Because you are trying to change the entire lifestyle of people. Imagine nowadays you are not really going to bank pretty often the way, let's say, 20 years back or 15 years back people used to really rush to the bank and be in the queue with that particular withdrawal slip in their hand to try to withdraw their own hard and money kept in the bank. Now they have to just be in a queue, wait for the token number. The fellow at the teller counter is going to shout at your number, token number 769, and you'll be pretty happy that your turn has come. I think those days are gone and firmly gone. Now you don't have to rush to a bank. Even if you go to the bank, you are not going to bank to withdraw your money. Now you can do your banking through internet, through mobile banking, and probably a lot of UPI apps have really come up. This is a classic example of how an idea can really completely come and change the way the entire organization really functions, the entire way society responds to the organization's activities, and gets transformed in the process. The emphasis is now on the total development of human resources in line with evolving business and marketing orientations. The business is evolving, the marketing orientations are evolving, and you have got to try to understand that I am going to be doing a total development of the entire human resources available with me. You cannot be really operating in a straitjacket way where you say that, look, this is selling and this is my cup of tea. I don't really get into marketing a lot. Or this is my selling function and I'll stick to it. I don't have got anything to do with HR or IT or kind of other functions of my business. No, now this is a case of where you are going for total development of human resources because your business is evolving pretty fast. Your marketing organizations have got to try and keep pace with that. That is pretty important to understand. So, what are the role of sales management? What exactly sales management really tries to accomplish? Strategic planning is the first thing. I could have said planning, but sales management is beyond planning. You are trying to involve strategic planning to achieve the sales objectives of a business. What does this include? This includes setting goals, developing sales strategies, creating plans for effective implementation. You are going to be setting goals for yourself. Sounds pretty easy. Sounds pretty uninteresting as well. How do you set your own goals? You have got to set your own goals because you have got to be trying to figure out this is the number that I want to achieve, or this is the territory that I want to cover, or this is the market share that I should be really able to grapple with. And you have got to really try to understand that my sales strategies are all going to be directed towards that and that only. What is the sales strategy? You can't just get up one fine morning and say that, look, you go north and you go south and you go east and somebody else is going to go west. This is not the way sales strategies are really being developed. You have got to really try to exclusively create a kind of a matrix where you are going to be specifically trying to come up with sales strategies so that your sales objectives or sales goals are being met. You are planning for effective implementation of all your sales strategies. For example, if you understand the way earlier the selling was really being done and the way selling is being done right now at this moment, there is a complete shift, or as they say, there is a paradigm shift. But the fact is, whether you are selling in earlier days or you are selling now, end of the day, you are also trying to be focused on one thing: have I been able to really try to liquidate my stocks from my stock ads or not? Is my product really flowing from my shelf space to the customer's place or not? Am I really making a kind of impact in the customer's life or not? When I say making an impact in a customer's life, what I really understand is that you are trying to be responsible to change the way customers thinks and analyzes and responds to your kind of product and services. I'll give an example of it. I think if you understand the way the TV industry has really evolved, the entertainment industry has evolved, the way kind of infotainment industry has evolved. They have gone from 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G to and of course 6G is around the corner. Okay, so we have really moved from the so-called black and white TV sets to color, LCD, LED, and flat, and this and that. So you have got to really try to keep pace with the changing times. You have got to be really trying to understand that I have got to really try to understand that the market is quickly changing, and I cannot really try to be settling with my old-fashioned way of really creating my sales strategy and sticking to it with the hope that someday this might just actually take off. It is not dependent on your wishes and your thoughts. It is not dependent on your fancies and kind of thinkings and all. It has got to be very carefully crafted kind of a strategy where you are trying to generate a particular strategy which is going to be taking your sales figure up. Strategic planning is pretty crucial to understand. Second point that I want to emphasize is regarding team leadership. Sales managers play a vital role in leading and managing the sales team. I think the sales people are the most tricky people in the entire organizations. They are pretty smart. They are pretty go-getter. They are pretty more, pretty much outdoor kind of people. They believe that life exists outside the organization. They believe that life exists with the customers and with the strangers also. So they are going to be very much vocal about what they want and what they really can really do for the organization, because they contribute to the growth and the success of the organization. So they always have a crucial say in the crucial activities of the organization. And the sales managers, being the senior people in the organizational hierarchy, they are going to be playing a vital role in leading and managing the sales team. You have got to lead them and you have got to manage them. Why I say lead them? Because sometimes you might find that there is a fresher who is absolutely uninitiated in the role of selling, and he doesn't really know anything about the territory and all. Then you have got to kind of hold his hand and show the path. You have got to try and take him forward. You have got to try and lead them by your own example. You might just actually go and meet a client and tell, look, this is how I'm going to deal with the client. Try to observe me, what I'm trying to do, and try to learn it from me. So who knows, the sales guy who is a learner besides you might just actually grow and develop into a very smart sales guy who might just actually outwit you in some time to come. And you have got to manage the sales team. Why I say managing the sales team is pretty crucial, it's purely because of the fact that the sales people are the most volatile people. They are going to be very much driven by their own ego. They are very much driven by their own way of working. They understand that there is no strict way of really trying to achieve their goals. They might be just a little bit more manipulating, little bit more maneuvering, little bit more smarter, and at sometimes offense to someone. But I mean, let me tell you that they might be really trying to understand that well. Street smartness also really helps. So they are bundle of people who are really good in so many different kind of activities. So it is very difficult, very crucial, and very rewarding as well at the same time to manage the sales team. This involves recruiting, training, motivating, and guiding sales representatives to ensure optimal performance. You have got to bring them on, train them, you have got to inspire them or motivate them, and of course, you have to, at the end of the day, guide your sales representatives to ensure that they are trying to give their best. If not best, the next best thing that can really happen to the organization is only going to be coming from the sales guys. The third issue that I want to raise is regarding customer relationship management, which is very popularly known as CRM. I think all of you are really aware about it. You are going to be building and maintaining strong relationships with customers. That is a key aspect. Customer is the reason for which you are in the market. As simple as that. There is no customer, you don't exist. You can't create customer, you can't grow. You don't have any customer base to begin with, you are finished. Sales managers oversee initiatives to enhance customer satisfaction, customer loyalty, and retention. Customer satisfaction is important, and more important is customer loyalty, and the most important is customer retention. I can tell you one thing, that to create a customer and to retain a customer, that these are two extremely difficult kind of a job. Once you are able to create a customer, then the next important thing is to how do I retain the customer? Why should the customer really stay with you? If he is really kind to be kind of watching that there are a lot of companies who are offering the same kind of products, same kind of services, they are even better than you in some aspects, in some aspects or other, like quality wise they are really better off, or price wise maybe they're a little bit more competitive, and maybe they're really going to be feeling that well, this is really going to be delivered to me at my doorstep. Why should I really step out of my own home and try to really take this kind of risk of weathering the dust and heat and so kind of rain and everything? So you have got to understand that to create a customer is difficult, and to retain a customer is even more difficult. But once it is retained, then you really don't have to spend any extra marketing money on that. Listen me carefully. Once a customer is being created, once a customer is retained, now your spending on marketing money really gets reduced to almost nothing, because the customer have understood you, the customer has understood your organization, the customer has understood your product well. Now you really don't have to tell them who you are, what are you trying to offer, and why you are so better than or so good in comparison to other kind of competitors available in the market. So once you are done with this, you have got to generate loyalty. And loyalty is when the customer comes back to you, the product doesn't. I repeat, I sense the loyalty in the way that the customer comes back to you, but the product doesn't. When the product comes back to you, the customer is not happy with you. And an unhappy customer in India can create more number of unhappy customers than a happy customer can create happy customers. So please remember, customer relationship management is the heart and soul of your entire marketing function, entire selling function, and your sales figure going up or going down or remaining stagnant is primarily dependent on your customer relationship management. That is a mandatory must. You have got to have that, skill of market analysis. Now, what is that market analysis? You have got to understand market trends. This is pretty easily said than done. How do you really try to keep track of market trends? Where exactly the market is really heading towards? How exactly the customers are really changing? The customer needs are changing pretty fast, and you have got to really kind of keep a hawk's eye on your computer activities. These are three integral activity that as a salesperson or as a marketing person, you have got to ensure that this is really being done and done with utmost integrity by your own organization. You have got to understand the market trends first. And if you ask yourself, how do you really understand the market trends? Just go near to the customers, listen to them, listen to their inner voice. What exactly are they really trying to understand from you? What are they trying to really expect from the time to come? How exactly the market is really shaped up? If you understand the Indian market well, you might have really seen the way banking is really being kind of taken care of nowadays. From, like I told you a few minutes back, from going to the bank physically to using your Paytm or Phone Pay or Google Pay, we have been taken a giant leap forward. When I talk about this taking a giant leap forward, what I really mean is that the people who have really understood the market trends, or the people who have been the trend setters, that is even better. If you are a trend setter, then probably you don't have to follow the market. You have to really dictate to the market, look, this is the way the market is going to be evolving because I am going to be setting a trend for it. Okay, that can be one logic. Second logic can be, you have got to understand the customer needs. You might be kind of a little bit hesitant to accept this, but the fact is customer needs keep on changing, and customer nowadays is very ruthless kind of a customer who is absolutely uncompromising. He is not your next door boy. He is not a customer who is really taking things lying down. Henry Ford cannot today come up and tell you can buy any car as long as the color is black. You cannot dictate to the customer, this is the car that I make. Because I am the only manufacturer of car, you have got to really take the car as per my choice of color. If Henry Ford will be getting out of his grave and tell the same stuff to the customers of today, probably the customer is going to tell, look, Mr. Ford, I want my car 10% white, 20% pink, 30% blue, and the rest all colors are mixed up. That may happen. So customer needs are gradually changing and changing pretty fast. And of course, the competitor activities. Who is your competitor? How do you really understand that he is my competitor? Like the Coca-Cola CEO once said that Pepsi is not my biggest competitor. The fellow selling Nimbu Pani on the street, the vendor selling Nimbu Pani on the street is my biggest competitor. So how do you really understand who is your competitor? What exactly the competitor is doing at the moment, and what is really kind of in his mind, or how exactly he's going to be coming up the very next time. That is pretty crucial to understand. Sales management involves continuous market analysis to adapt strategies and stay competitive. If you feel that doing business the old-fashioned way is going to be giving you the results, then you are sadly mistaken. You cannot do business in the old-fashioned way and still expect that good things are going to be coming your way. This is absolutely a kind of fallacy with which the marketer may not really live. I was reading somewhere about Mr. Munjal of the Hero Honda Group, and one journalist asked the Papa Munjal, the Father Munjal, Mr. Munjal, are you happy the way Hero Honda is doing business at this moment, or do you have any plan of changing your strategy and all? He said, no, I don't want to change because I am almost having more than 65% of markets are in this country at this moment. I'm pretty happy about it. So if there is no need to change, why should I change? After 20 years, again, if you really try to understand what really happened to Hero Honda, you can understand Hero and Honda got separated. Hero is now just doing the doing the marketing as a solo kind of a partner. And you understand that there are a lot many people who are trying to give them the run for that money. So you have got to really try to adapt strategies and stay competitive. If you are not competitive, then you are going to be really kind of making yourself redundant. And if you really take the history of this particular country, India, and take the example of many good corporate houses, they have become redundant because of one simple single reason that they haven't really been able to keep pace with the changing way in which the customers have really changed this market. And more importantly, there are also good companies who have been saying their strategies like Amul has done. Amul is still relevant. Amul is still the fastest of many customers because it has really changed its entire look, entire way in which product is going to be served to the customers. And of course, they have really tried to make a kind of a good contact with the customers by continuously, constantly trying to be promoting their products in every street and every corner of this country. They haven't really lost touch of the social media. They haven't really lost touch of the digital media platforms. They are still available on the hoardings and the boardings on the streets. They are still trying to do their advertisements in print as well, maybe the most old-fashioned way, but still they are doing it. The reason for that is pretty simple. They have really chalked it out pretty clearly that I have got to really remain relevant and stay competitive. If I do not, then I am out of this market and no force can ever really come to rescue me. That is for sure. And the next point that I want to make as role of sales management is your performance evaluation. Sales managers assess the performance of the sales team, identify areas for improvement, and implement measures to enhance overall effectiveness. What do they do, sales managers? They assess the performance of the sales team. How do you assess the performance of the sales team? Like I told you earlier, if you have heard me carefully, the performance of the sales team is not always, I repeat, not always measured in terms of numbers that they have been able to generate. They are also going to be measured in terms of the impact that they had in the customer's mind. It is not always numbers speak. It is again the impact that you are leaving in the customer's mind, so that if not today, the customer might become your true customer or a genuine customer tomorrow morning, and he might be instrumental in bringing in lot many customers because he is a happy, satisfied, delighted customer. You have again got to identify the areas for improvement. Where are you lacking? Are you lacking in soft skills, or are you lacking in understanding the products, or are you lacking in something else? If your product knowledge is little bit less, you might be really finding it pretty tough to explain and convince to a customer who really understands your product inside out. If you are selling some kind of service oriented products, like for example banking services, financial services, products like that, then you might just actually go and stumble upon a chartered accountant who knows more than what you can really understand from the product that you're trying to sell. To outwit him or to outsmart him, you have got to have a superior product knowledge. In that case, product knowledge is really going to be helping you, nothing else. You cannot be really a smart guy trying to really kind of impress the chartered accountant with your big smiles and all. He's not really going to be interested by that, interested in that. He might just actually really go and check the numbers. And in terms of checking numbers, you have got to really understand that my product knowledge has got to be adequate, up to date, up to date, and without any kind of blemishes. And you have got to implement measures to enhance your overall effectiveness. What measures you have taken to enhance your overall effectiveness? When I say effectiveness, I don't mean your efficiency. Efficiency is doing the things right, and effectiveness is doing the right things. Are you really focusing on the right things that needs to be done, or are you just going through the motions of it? Companies, organizations, people, salespeople particularly, who go through the motion of really getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning and rushing to the market and knocking at different doors and coming back and reporting to the boss in the evening. Look, I contacted 80 persons in a particular day like today, and out of 80, 79 people said no to my product offerings. 79 people really said no to listening to me. That is not really effectiveness. Effectiveness is out of 180 people, maybe more than 60% of people have responded to your kind of calls. They have really treated you with respect. They have really tried to take some time out to understand what product exactly are you trying to sell and all. That is really pretty important for you. Now let us understand what exactly is the nature of sales management. It can be a dynamic environment. The nature of sales management is dynamic, requiring adaptability to changes in the market, customer preferences, and technology. Technology part, I have already explained, like, if you take the mobile phones, 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G to 6G, if you talk about anything that you really close your eyes and open and see as a kind of technical gadget, they all have gone for a complete thorough metamorphosis. No need to try to reiterate the fact that technology is really going to be changing and changing pretty quick. You have got to really try to understand that the environment in which the sales guy is working is a very quickly a fast changing kind of environment. You have got to be adaptable to that. You have got to understand the nuances of the market very well. You have got to really understand that the customers are not going to be static. They are going to be ever changing, ever shifting, ever switching from product A to B to C in no quick time. And the market also changes. The size of the market might change because of some kind of economic fallout. The size of the market might change because of some kind of demographical changes. The size of the market might as well change because the customers are really not willing to spend more on a particular kind of product or service. Okay, so the dynamic environment is an environment where things are changing pretty quick, and because it is called dynamic, so you have to be again more agile, more dynamic, really to try and keep pace with that particular kind of a changing environment. It should be goal oriented as well. Why I say it is goal oriented? Because if you do not have a goal post, then you are just trying to play a practice match. So it is a goal oriented kind of an activity. You are focusing on achieving your sales targets. You are of course going to be achieving the numbers. But beyond numbers, what is more important, what is more really interesting to understand is that you have got to achieve certain kind of market share. And if your market share is gradually growing up and your sales targets are being met and you are remaining profitable while aligning with the overall objective of the business, then you are absolutely moving in an unstoppable way. That is pretty clear. The sales target has to be achieved. Numbers game, as they say, the market share has to be good because you cannot be really competitive without really having a dominant market share in the market. You might be the number 2 or the number 3 or the number 4 player, but still, if you're trying hard, if you're trying to really try to catch up with number 1 or 2, if you're number 3 or 4, then of course you are on the right track. And to do that, you have got to be able to achieve the sales targets in time. And of course, while achieving a market share and sales target, you cannot, should not close your eyes to the profitability part of your organization. You cannot run a business in an unprofitable way and try to achieve your sales target and market share for the heck of it. It is not really done. It is not really accepted by any business under the sun. Interpersonal skill is another key area of nature of sales management. Effective communication and interpersonal skills are essential in sales management. What is that? Interpersonal skill. You should be really speaking to a customer in a more empathetic way. When I say more empathetic way, what I mean is that you should really understand the pulse of the customer. You cannot really try and tell a customer when somebody is really kind of in a grip mode, try to sell him some kind of product like come to Malaysia for a 3-night 4-day kind of a vacation because he's mourning the death of someone pretty nearby. It is not really done that way. You have got to really be understanding that I have got to really try and think and feel like the customer. Building relationships with both internal teams and external customers is crucial. Your own team members who are part of your sales team, you have got to gel well with them, got to really understand their sentiments, their ways of really trying to do things and all. And each individual is different. You have got to really try and bond with the individuals. And of course, the bonding with external customers is very crucial because sometimes the external customer, if he is really having a good personal relationship with you, might just actually say yes to you, even if he's really not convinced about what you really want to sell and market. Okay, and of course you have got to be results driven. What is that result? Driven. I'm sorry. The nature of sales management is a result driven with a continuous emphasis on achieving measurable outcomes and improving performance. If you are, like I told you minutes back, if you are just playing without a goalpost, you are playing a practice match. And sales in the field is not a practice match. It is a goal-oriented, result-driven kind of an activity where the emphasis is on achieving measurable outcomes. You cannot say, I went and touched 100 customers and all are smiling, all are happy with me. All are happy with me, smiling at me. That really doesn't make any sense to your organization as long as it is not really converted into sales. So your measurable outcome is regarding conversion of customers as customers, or conversion of your prospective customers as your true customers, as they say in the language of marketing. Okay, and of course, with passage of time, you have got to understand that you have got to improve your performance from last quarter, from last 6 months, from last 1 year, from last 5 years. If you're not improving, then you are not really moving up. Remaining stagnant or maintaining your market share or maintaining your sales targets like what you did the last year, that is not a kind of escalated kind of an achievement. This is no achievement at all, so to say, in sales, because you have got to be constantly on a growth trajectory. Let's understand what are the ethics of sales management. Honesty and integrity. You might be wondering, sir, is there any kind of honesty and integrity left in sales? I think everything that you do is fair in love and sales, is it? No, it's not really fair in love and sales. Love, I don't know much, but about sales, it is not at all. You have to have a sense of honesty, and about your sales, you have to possess the sense of integrity, because people are going to be testing you as a person first. You are going to be interacting with a living human being. He has got sense to understand whether he can be really trusted or not, whether you are honest in your approach or not. Can I really close my eyes and trust you or not? If I cannot trust you, even if your product is good, I will always try to give it a second thought. Should I buy it from you or should I not buy it from you? Believe me, in the long run, people who survive, people who do good, and people who really grow in the market are the people who really take a backseat and try to really put forward their sense of honesty and integrity in all interactions possible. That is something which a salesperson lives, eats, thinks, drinks, and kind of sees dreams about. Okay, sales professionals should provide accurate information about products and services. You can fool a person one at you can fool a person once. Second time, he is going to be really trying to figure out how good or how bad your product or service is. Like they say, a bad product can never be sold twice. So if you are selling a bad product, you are pretty sure that you are not really going to be making a fool out of someone else, because he is going to be figuring it out pretty quick. And nowadays, with all these technology operators and all, figuring out how good or how bad a product is doesn't really require a kind of trial. You can sit at the luxury of your home, just a touch of a button, Google it, trying to find out, well, this is what a product is all about. Don't try to fool around. Second point on ethics I should emphasize is your customer-centric approach. Putting the customer's needs first is fundamental. You have got to understand that you are in the business of selling, but not the customer. He has got a need, which is a need of his own. It is not your need that he is going to be fulfilling. He is going to be fulfilling his own need. That is fundamental to understand. He has got a requirement. That's why he's looking for a job. He's looking for a solution. He's looking for a product. So I have got to provide them the job or the product or the solution. If I cannot, he is not going to be my customer. Sales managers and representatives should focus on delivering value and meeting customer expectations. You are at the end of the day trying to deliver value to the customer, and of course you are trying to be meeting, not only meeting nowadays, you are going to be exceeding the customer expectations. What you really understand by delivering value? Value delivery is when you are trying to deliver things as per the customer's expectation. The customer expects that this should be done to me, and you are going to be delivering it to him. As simple as that. It is purely simply trying to understand that you are going to be enriching the life of a customer. As simple as that. And you are going to be meeting the customer expectations also. So when you're trying to meet the customer expectations, nowadays customers have become more vocal, more kind of understanding, more kind of knowledgeable, more kind of informative, and more demanding as well. So when the customer becomes more demanding, he is really trying to be understanding whether this particular product, this particular service, this particular farm, this particular company, this particular organization is really going to be delivering me as per my expectations or not. If you exceed it, he is going to be a staunch loyal to you for all the time to come. Transparency is the next issue that I want to debate. Open and transparent communication is vital. You can't really hide facts. You should really try to communicate very clearly with both the sales team and the customers, avoiding misleading information. I mean, you might just actually get tempted to mislead a customer for the purpose of selling him. Just in plain, ordinary, simple language, you call it as you are trying to dupe a customer. But duping a customer for a particular moment is really sounding pretty interesting. But when a customer becomes pretty much knowledgeable, he really becomes pretty much smart enough, then he is really going to be figuring it out and going to tell 20 other people, look, here is a product which is really dangerous, or here is a product which is not really qualitatively good, or here is a service which cannot be trusted. Please do not get into the trap. And when a customer is tries to stand up and talk to people in India, people listen to a great customer more than listen to a salesperson trying to really claim for why the product that he's trying to sell is really good and is really better than anyone else. Okay, compliance can be another ethics. Adherence to legal and regulatory standards is crucial. Ethical sales management involves ensuring that sales practices comply with industry regulations and laws. That is a must. You are operating in a country where the country is driven by certain kind of regulations, certain kind of laws. You cannot just try to violate it for whatever, superficial reasons. You might be thinking that this is something which really fits my organization or which really benefits my organization. It is not about benefiting your organization. You are not supposed to go against the law of the land. As simple as that. Fair competition. Sales managers should promote a fair competition in the market, avoiding unethical practices that harm competitors or undermine the integrity of the industry. You cannot certainly bring the price down because you just want to create more kind of customers out of nowhere. You cannot just try to promote a second grade products in the same place or in the same industry where you are going to facing a lot of competition from lot many people. And to escape competition, you cannot just try to lower your own status, lower your own kind of standards of the product and all. Because you are not by lowering the product standard, you are not only lowering your own kind of stature, you are also trying to undermine the integrity of the industry, which is not really going to be tolerated. What are the benefits? How sales management or an effective sales manager is really going to be giving benefit to society? Economic growth and maximum employment contribute to national development. If you sell more, you are generating more profits. With more profits, with more revenue, your farm grows, and with the farm's growth, so also is going to be the life of many people who are associated directly or indirectly with it is going to grow. That is understandable. And you are also going to be contributing maximum employment, which is also going to be adding to the national development of it. That is a fundamental thing that every sales guy should really understand, that he is directly or indirectly contributing for national development. Jobs and incomes for the nation's labor force are essential. If you understand the industry well, I think in India, industry which are really having good number of sales persons, good number of sales force, that is also really contributing to the job and income of the nation's labor force. That is something which is very crucial, and that is what really makes sales such a pretty leading kind of a job, in a country like ours. Salespeople play a crucial role in creating and stimulating demand, supporting economic productivity. Of course, yes, if you are creating demand and if you are stimulating demand, you are meeting it by your production, by your own service creations, then of course you are going to be, kind of supporting the economic productivity of the country. Because if you do not sell, people won't buy, and if people won't buy, then the entire economy of the country should not really go up. How does it benefit the customers? Professional salespeople possess knowledge about product uses, limitations, and benefits. They understand that this product is going to be used in this particular fashion, this particular way, and this has got the limitation like this, and this, and of course the benefit like ABC. They can effectively serve customers by providing advice and assistance. Salespeople are always ready to help. Like they say, happy to help you. Okay. Examples include insurance agents analyzing risk for you, sales engineers solving technical problems, and medical representatives informing doctors about new drugs. You go to any kind of technical product selling, I think they really make a selling out of good advice, good assistance, and providing the particular kind of advice or the particular kind of assistance required by the experts in their own chosen fields. How does it benefit to business firms, salespersons, and customers? Business firms, salespersons, and customers all benefit from sales activities. How? Salespersons owned by companies aim to sell goods profitably to ensure the firm's success. Salespeople contribute field intelligence, providing crucial information about competitive activities and changing customer needs. They are also going to be contributing to the organization or the business firms that they work for, because they are going to be gathering field intelligence, providing crucial information about competitive activities, and of course the changing customer needs as they really go down the market, talk directly to the customer, have a one-to-one interaction with the customers. They understand the customer needs like nobody else can probably. Okay. Business firms Salespeople who are all owned by companies aim to sell goods profitably to ensure the farm's success. This also ensures that the farm is going to be selling its product successfully. Sales are crucial, requiring a customer-oriented approach, including providing product information, demonstrations, training, sales advice, and assistance in inventory maintenance. This is all, and I would rather try to tell you that whether you try to understand the nature of sales management or role of sales management, I think one more crucial thing that you should really try to appreciate is that sales really makes the life of the business firms, the government, the people at large, the economy of the country as a whole to really grow. And the job of the salesperson is not really that easy, that simple. It really requires lot many training, lot many kind of motivations from different kind of quarters, different kind of sources, and of course, it really requires that they should really appreciate that they are not only really serving for themselves, they are serving for the benefit of the society, benefit to the customers, and of course, benefit to the business firms, salesperson themselves, and many other people. So this is all that I wanted to tell to you all today, and hope this session is really going to be of immense benefit to all of you, those who are listening and those who are planning to listen in future. And like I said, selling is the real cog in the wheel that really makes an organization run and then make it run successfully. Without sales, no organization can ever really dream of really running it successfully and running it for a long term. For a sustainable business practice, sales management is a mandatory must. It has got to be practiced and practiced hard by every kind of people who are directly or indirectly associated with it. Thank you. Thank you so much.